Hello everyone, this is Jill back with another Cubing Chronicles video. This is the third video in the series. It's technically labeled week 3, but it's not. It's been a couple weeks since I've last made a video about this, but wanted to give you guys a progress update on my solves and things like that. To start off, I did purchase a new 3x3, it's the GAN 16. Wanted to give it a try since the MoU and the GAN cubes are some of the most popular on the market. I wanted to see if I liked this turning style a little bit more than this one. And after doing a couple averages of 100 on both of these cubes, I kind of decided I think I like the MoU just a little bit more. It's a little bit sturdier, and I think it's easier for me to control, but I do like how fast this one is and light. I think it's a very interesting feel. And if I give it more time, I bet I can get some really consistent solves with this. Right now, I would say I'm a little bit more consistent with this. However, I do see my averages of 100 are about the same. As far as progress with my speed solving and my average of 100, I have reached a point where I am sub 15 seconds on my average of 100. So that's pretty great. The first time that happened for like a full set of 100 solves I did in one session versus like, you know, in between a bunch of solves or whatever, was a couple days ago. I think I have a clip of it. This is the session that I was working in for my goal of sub 15. As you can see here, I'm at 1300 solves, so the 100 solves I did today is sub 15. Pretty exciting. Anyway, so I have reached the goal of sub 15 seconds for my average of 100. Now I think the biggest thing is just going to be added consistency and then added speed. Let's just see how far we can take this. So maybe this turns into road to sub 12, sub 10, whatever. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm pretty excited that we've reached this mark. So as far as things that I've noticed that have helped with my times would be, one, continuing to improve my F2L and just make that faster. So just trying to be a little bit faster with that, a little bit more consistent. The less time I spend on F2L, the better. And then the second thing would be speed. So I think when I solve the cube, I have a tendency to have slower or more deliberate turns because I think I have the time to, you know, eat up for that like solve. But in reality, I should actually be pushing myself to be a bit faster. I think that's been a very interesting adjustment for me, but it's also led me to get a lot more 12, 13, 14 second solves versus 14, 15, and 16 second solves. So that's been one thing that I've been working on. As far as what I'm working on this week, I've got a couple things that I want to focus in on, get more data and analysis on to see what I can do to improve there. So number one would be last layer solves or last layer algorithms, trying to get those to be a lot faster. So right now what I did was I tracked all 21 PLLs to see what my average of 50 would be with just solving that and to see if I can get a little bit faster. So the goal here is I'm seeing a lot of 2.5 second average. I'd like to see that come down to sub 2, 1, or maybe even 1.5 seconds, with the end goal at some point being 1 second, but I think that's a little bit out of reach right now. And then the second thing would be F2L. So my cross and F2L stage, I'm going to try and get that to be consistently under 10 seconds for my solving time. So right now I think it's at 10.4 seconds for an average of 100 if I just do my F2L. So those are things that I'm starting to keep track of now and trying to keep track of the things that are components of the solve so then I can break down where I'm spending a lot of time and where I think I can cut some time. So that's what I've been working on. And I think the other thing that I'm going to try and do is get better finger tricks for my PLL and then also continue to work on the things that I've done in the past as well. And also another thing would be just recording more of my solves. So without further ado, here's some solves that I recently did. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any questions or curiosities about my practice techniques, let me know. If you have any suggestions on what I should do to get faster, feel free to leave them in the comments. Always happy to take suggestions. Also, if you have any thoughts on like speed cubes or anything like that, I'm always interested in trying out new ones. You know, maybe wouldn't buy one soon, but in the next couple weeks or months, might explore buying like the newest MoU or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so this was an average of 12 I have recorded. It wasn't great, but here it is. The average of 12 was 16.29. The latest average of 5 was a 14.3. The latest average of 50 was a 15.66. And then the average of 100 was 15.28. So honestly not great, but it was what I had recorded, so I figured I'd show it to you guys. And just, you know, this is pretty short since a lot of this is sped up, but what I'd like to say is I'm planning to make a video going over my future practice schedule and plan to continue to better my solves and make them faster, and then also, you know, try and get a little bit more consistent. So the two things that I'm focusing on this week would be my last layer algorithms, so PLL. I want to get all those under 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds. And basically what I'm going to do is focus on the ones right now that are really slow. So anything that's above 2 seconds, I'm going to prioritize until I get it under 2 seconds, and then I'll try and get everything under 1.5 seconds. And then the other thing would be first 2 layers. So what I'm prioritizing there would be trying to get that sequence under 10 seconds. The one F2L practice session I did was around 10.5 seconds. And for that, really just continue to try and find patterns of, you know, pairs that need to be solved and recognize what those F2L algorithms are. So I know a lot of F2L algorithms to start. That was kind of how I learned F2L to begin with, as opposed to intuitive F2L. So I do have a good start there, but there is some like adjacent like pairs, or, you know, edges are inserted into like an adjacent slot that you need to, that there's an algorithm for that to solve it. So I'm hoping to learn some of those to increase my speed there and recognition. So hopefully that goes well. And then the other thing that I think would help immensely is recognizing when I insert my last pair, what would happen to the top layer, so that I don't end up with any dot cases, or maybe even set myself up for success and get like all the edges complete. So that's kind of the plan I have, and I do want to outline all of that in a video, so stay tuned for it. But just wanted to kind of, again, reiterate what I already said previously is my practice schedule, because I think I'm in a good position now where I feel like I'm getting a lot of averages of 100 under 15 seconds. Now it's just a matter of like, how far can we take this? Like, where's my skill set end? And another thing I'd like to do is to start seeing more sub 10-second solves, you know, even if they are just lucky scrambles, things like that. I think those are fun to get, and I'd like to start tracking how many of those I get. I have right now 2 under my belt. So one's 9.33 and one's like 8.69 or something. So hoping to get a few more and then get a little bit more consistent, see where we can go with that. And yeah, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to discuss as far as, you know, solves and everything. And again, I would say that this average that I have recorded was certainly not great, but it was kind of coming back from some travel and stuff, so probably had a lot on my mind when it came to what I was trying to work on. So yeah. But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and yeah, we will see you in the next one. So see you around.